Hi folks, welcome to your local show, HERNOL and Friends. This is a show that deals with people in the arts, people in the sports world, and I have a special guest for you this evening. His name is the one and only, the incomparable Titus Walker, the first and the original, the one who created several plays that's hot on the Broadway scene today. I have him right here in our studios, folks. And before I do that, let me just mention some aspects of his life that has taken place. Mr. Walker is the director of the UJAMAA's Theaters, Educational and Training Center at 250 West 65th Street, Lincoln Square Neighborhood Center, New York City, which gives training in the area of theater, black studies, and communication skills. Mr. Walker, welcome.
How you doing, HERNOL?
It's very nice to have you here.
Hey, listen, thank you for having me.
Right. Okay. You know, our purpose of having you here is to let all the viewers know that you're doing some wonderful things in black theater, you know, because we're trying to keep black theater alive. That's one aspect of our communication field that must stay alive, folks. And without black theater, we have nothing, because we are the natural actresses and actors in the world. You know, I mean, people of color, African Americans, we know how to act. There's nobody else acts better than us, okay? So Titus, the director of UJAMAA Black Theater, he's going to let you know a little bit about his history, what's going on, what's taking place in today's world. Thank you. Go ahead, Titus.
Hey, listen, again, I'm so glad to be here on your show. Well, first of all, we're getting ready to do a piece called The Gospel of the Harlem Renaissance. It's a 1920-1930 musical based on the history of Harlem. And we're going to have it down at Broadway's Town Hall at 123 West 43rd Street. And that's going to be Saturday, October 2nd, 8 p.m. at Broadway's Town Hall. Now, you know, when you talk about black theater, that's a big scope to talk about. But, you know, I'll begin by talking about the UJAMAA Black Theater. The UJAMAA Black Theater is about the positive projection of the African American through theater or any type of media form. And we specialize in doing historical plays and those of social significance. We have a training mechanism down at 250 West 65th Street, where we train adults and children in acting, dancing, and also communication skills and African American ethnic studies.
Okay. So, based on what you just told us, can you tell us a little bit about how did you get started with UJAMAA? Because I know UJAMAA or UJAMAA is a Swahili name, and it's a very powerful name. And I know that, you know, when I saw you on television doing that commercial with you on that horse, and when the inception of the commercial, it came out, dun, 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 dun. I really dug that. You know, that was wonderful. And
thank you.
And I want to tell you, you know, it's very positive to see a black man, you know, doing black theater on television, commercials. That's unheard of. And right now he's on Broadway, folks. How many people can say they're on Broadway? And with all the setbacks that we have with our economics condition. So could you elaborate a little bit?
Well, I say first of all, when you look at UJAMAA, UJAMAA is, like you said, a Swahili word. It means collectivity and familyhood. UJAMAA, we started UJAMAA like back in 1973, 74. You know, I came out of the black nationalist cultural movement that was happening at that time. And during that period, we had a reawakening where we started to look at the books. We started looking at movies and saying we have to do it for ourselves. We have to rewrite our own books. We have to rewrite how movies are being done. We have to rewrite our history and how people look at ourselves. And we have to start doing it for ourselves. And I've been very blessed to be able to survive the quote-unquote 70 period where I came out of. I'm not a 60s guy, I'm actually a 70s guy. And the 70s was a very difficult time period because you had so much of attack on people who were trying to do Afrocentric type work. Okay, so to come out that period and still be around is a blessing from Almighty God.
It is, because I don't know if our viewers know that Titus is a born Harlemite. He was born in Harlem, born and bred in Harlem, and not too many of our young ones can come up and be a man and be as successful as Titus is. You know, being born and being focused. He knew what he wanted to do. Can you tell our youth out there, you know, what can they do to stay focused? Because, you know, there's so much going on with drugs, crime, and it's usually among ourselves. So what can they do to stay focused?
It's a funny thing that you mentioned that, because I was talking to my son, who's in the studio here with me today,
right.
Taj Mahal. I was talking to him about the same thing. Is the fact is that a lot of things that are happening with this generation are orientated towards propagating the hoodlum look, okay? And, you know, it's very easy to propagate this hoodlum look when you're making money off the hoodlum look. But people are orientated towards business, and people who look business, because the United States, America is about business, and we have to orientate our people into, and our young people, into understanding how to make America more effective for them. I mean, it's all right, you know, for these styles to be stylish at this period in time, but the fact is we have to remind our young people that there's a lot of commercialism in how people propagate this gangster look, okay, when the real gangsters are wearing suit and ties.
Yeah, you know, folks, you know, we have to realize that, you know, when we wear a certain clothing, that gives us a certain and a certain behavior pattern. You know, I know last year what was very popular during the winter was the ski mask around the youngsters' face, you know, teenagers. And I saw a lot of them just acting out their part as hoods and as gangsters. But we must have a positive stereotype within ourselves to our youth. We must stress that, because we don't want the same pathological condition that has been going on for the last 100 years continue to go on, because we can be what we are, which is kings and queens of this earth. Titus, can you elaborate on your directing skills? I know that you have a workshop dealing with adults and children. Could you give us a little bit more of information about that?
You know, I tell you, being a director has to deal with also perspective and having control of your production. When you talk about the fact of economics, you know, even why we're able to perform on Broadway, because we raise our own money, I raise my own money. So that means that we control our perspective, we control the images that we put across on screen. We don't have to go to a European committee and ask them what type of plays we could put on. We don't have to go to a quote-unquote Negro bourgeoisie who might want to have a certain quote-unquote bourgeoisie type of perspective and put across that. We can put across a gut perspective of what is going on in the African American community and be concerned with that. And by being independent, we have allowed us a certain amount of control of what we're doing. You know, you mentioned something about the television commercials. Television commercials were also set up to put across a positive image, to also put across images that you normally would not see on television. Okay, very black, Afrocentric, no apologies. And also subliminally to let people know that to be positive and to be independent, that it is possible. Okay, to be motivating to other brothers and sisters. And let's put it this way, you know, I've been around for almost 20 years. So even for what people, some people who have seen me on television, have seen me like a new jack. And I've been around a long time. I've had to be that good to do what I'm doing on television. True. So again, you know, been very blessed to do what I've been able to do. But like I said, we try to be motivating so that you have more young black men be motivated to be independent and to look out for the interests of their community.
Right, right. You know, that's very important, because this show here, we deal with African American positive images, because I believe, you know, we need more of that on television, because we're always being stereotyped as nothing but, you know, oh, he can't do this, oh, he's negative. And that comes within even our homes, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers sometimes, you know, okay? Now, dealing with you as a playwright, can you give us some of the work that you've done? I know you've written several plays that are outstanding.
Okay, well, I've written Tribute to Malcolm X,
right.
Gospel of Harlem Renaissance, We Gotta Fight Apartheid, Why Don't You Read a Book Today, Tommy Meade. Man, I could just go on and on and on.
Is a tribute to Malcolm X, would that be upcoming in the 1993 fall season?
Yeah, we're probably going to do, that's going to come up as we go in closer into February. and we've been doing a lot of touring with that particular production.
Right.
And we've been working with the drug elimination program, with the housing authority, bringing that production to the local community centers. So the drug elimination program that's run by Mr. Tony Morton, he has allowed us to really do a lot of grassroots work in connection with what's happening with our brothers and sisters who are living in these housing developments.
Right. Yeah, I'm very interested in a tribute to Malcolm X
Hey,
because
you ain't got to resemble
yeah,
him,
everybody has told me that I could be, you know, I'll be great for that role.
And but brother, I let me say one other thing. I want to salute you in the fact of having a program like this to air these type of positive views. And let me just say something, you know, about the black and white thing, because I know many people have been heavily criticized. You have Dr. Jeffries, who've been heavily criticized. People, anytime that you have a Afrocentric perspective, many times people think it's a racist perspective. But I'll say this, is that many of the great heroes that we've had, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, one thing that they tried to push into the African American's head, and also that of the society in which we live, is the fact is that we are human beings. And because of the fact that black people are human, and they try to stress the fact is that because you are a human being, you are endowed with a certain amount of strength, okay? Just because you're that, and you're a black human being, but because you're a human being, you can do anything that any other human being can do. If you see other people being successful, you could be successful too, because you are a human being, not because you're better than somebody else, because you are better because you've been made a man or a woman. Okay?
Right.
And I think one of the major things people forget in these philosophies that Malcolm X pushed and Marcus Garvey pushed is the fact is that we are human beings. And these brothers and sisters had great humanity for people.
Right.
These are people.
Yeah, I just want to stress also that what made him so unique was they had a spiritual base.
Hey.
You know, when Malcolm found who he was, it was a spiritual base that led him to be who he is. Because without Allah, without God, for Marcus Garvey, who, by the way, Titus, you resemble him quite a bit.
Oh, thank you.
You should play his
oh, you know, that's one of the, as a matter of fact, that's one of the plays we do. We do the Trials of Marcus Garvey.
Yeah, you remind me a lot like Marcus Garvey.
Thank you.
And leading back to what I was saying, they all had a spiritual base. You know, I know this is TV, but listen, folks, it's a tough world out there, okay? And let's go to church. You know, because when I got his press release, one of the foundations that I read upon about this man was that his father always had him going out to church. Even when he didn't want to go to church, he had to go because his father told him to go. And see where he is today. That gave him the foundation, the base, a spiritual foundation of strength, of dignity and honor. And to our youth out there, you know, please, your mother tells you to go to church, don't give her any lip. Go.
You know, I think it's very important what you're saying. Is the fact is that the development of anyone's humanity has to start somewhere. And being a human being is a spiritual part of human beings that people, I think, miss out. And, you know, and if I don't care what our brothers and sisters are into, if they're into Islam, if they're into Christianity, I'd rather go with people who have a level of spirituality. Some people who have some kind of value system than people who they tell me their only value system is a dollar bill. And many times when people talk about God, they talk about the same God, but I'm not here to debate what God is what. But the fact is that I'd rather go with people who are spiritual, people who have some value, you know.
Yeah.
And many of our great leaders have been people who understood their level of spirituality. They had a level of values that they were pushing across, okay, that were greater than just man itself.